reads, Peter, I'm reading from the NIV. Peter asks, Lord, are you telling this parable to us or to everyone? I'm going to give you context in just a second, but this is Jesus speaking to the disciples about his return and them being prepared for his return. So what he does is he starts speaking all of these parables that are almost like beating around the bush, not getting directly to the point, but he uses all of these different stories and all of these different concepts to explain a truth that he's trying to get to his people. And so in this moment, he's preaching, he's talking to them, and he's saying these things about his return to his disciples. Okay, so Peter asks this question. This is a very important question. He says, Lord, are you telling this parable to us or to everyone? And the Lord answered, who then is the faithful and wise manager, whom the master puts in charge of his servants to give them their food allowance at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whom the master finds doing so when he returns. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. Did y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
He will put him in charge of all of his possessions. He said, the person who I find managing my resources, I will then find him worthy of all of my possessions. I'm going to say it again. The person that I find managing properly my resources, I will then come back and find them worthy of all of my possessions. But suppose the servant says to himself, my master is taking a long time in coming.
Come on.
So Jesus is so gangster right up and through here. He's so gangster when he says this. He says, but suppose the servant says to himself, my master is taking a long time in coming. And he then begins to beat the other servants, both men and women, and to eat and drink and get drunk. This word beat does not speak of physical beating. It speaks of pharisaical type approaches to God's people.
Wow, that's good.
Because God is far off, you think, you start to beat people up with what you think they should be doing.
Yeah, that's good.
46, the master of that servant will come on the day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the unbelievers. The servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked.
Come on.
I think we got it twisted. I really think we got it twisted, because most of the time when you hear a Christian say this is the only part they say. To whom much is given, much is required. And you can shout about that. Woo! To whom much is given, much is required. God, give me a whole bunch of money because I know what's required of me. But they don't talk about 47. The servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. This is not physical. Again, it's spiritual. He says, if you know my will and you go against my will, you'll have to suffer the consequences of being out of my will. But then he says, if you know my will and you do things even that deserve punishment, I'll have some grace on you. Y'all ain't ready for no word. Then he goes on to, but to whom much is given, much is required. Amen? I want to talk to you from the next 20 minutes from the brief subject that moves him. That moves him. It moves him. I mean, he's moved when you move. Can y'all feel that? I really shouldn't even have to preach. That moves him. He's moved when you're ready for him to move.
Come on now, God.
He's moved when you do his will.
Come on.
Even when you don't see him.
Yeah.
Even when you don't know when he's coming. He's moved when you're moved by him.
Yeah.
See, I'm so moved by him that I move.
Yeah.
Y'all got to follow me. This sounds a little tricky. I'm so moved by God that I move. Even when I see him not moving, I still move. And the fact that I still move, even when I don't see him move, moves him. The fact that I move when I don't see him move, it still moves him. What do you mean? I'm glad you asked that question. Let me tell you real quick before you take your seat. What that means is, when God says he's going to do something and he has not done it yet, I still act like and operate in the fact that he already did. Oh, that moves him.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
That moves him. Take a seat. That moves him. That